Welcome to the GamerCast Network Video Game Show, episode number 207. I'm Chad, and this week, a collection of our greatest hits from previous episodes compiled by GamerCast Network forum moderator cobolisdead. Enjoy.
Next topic.
I'd also like to put general hate out there to all the people that are begging you to help save them from Armageddon, but still insist on making you pay for things from them.
Yeah. Every store you go to. Yeah, the world's coming to an end.
You're the only one that can help us. By the way, there'll be 50 gold for that potion. Dude, I'm trying to save you and the world. Yeah, I know, but, man's got to make his living. 50 gold, please. Honestly, I would so much just like to be like, you know what? F*** you and f*** your town. I'm going to go somewhere else and just leave that place.
Next topic.
We actually had a very weird voicemail message.
Alrighty then. Any idea what that's supposed to be?
I don't know, but someone decided to send us 10 minutes of that.
How much you want to bet it's some little kid that literally just picked up the phone and jammed his
a random number,
dirty little fingers on the number, and that's what came up?
Actually, I was sitting there listening to it last night. I was me having watched so many Asian horror films that have like cell phones being evil. I was waiting for like...
I'm sorry. That had cell phones being evil. So many
I
Asian
like the fact that you kept listening.
I was waiting for like the evil horror thing to come over and take me over and make me go crazy, but it never came.
I like how... I just love the fact that you were like, all right, well, maybe it's some evil thing that's going to make me go insane. I'll just keep listening.
Hey, my life is pretty boring.
Oh, wait, when did you listen to it?
Last night.
Oh, see, maybe it's like The Ring. Maybe in 7 days your face is going to melt off or something.
I hope that doesn't happen to us now that we listen to that brief little clip.
Well, if I go down in 6 days, you guys know you have 1 day.
Yeah. If Chad dies on Friday, we're having one hell of a party on Friday night. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, you know what? Hell, I'll do this too. I'll put that actually in the show and, people out there can hear that insanity, and then I'm taking our listeners with us.
Next topic.
You know what what's really bad is the other place I was working at, they had, as part of our perks was we were allowed to use the JCC. So me and the one manager would go work out at the JCC, and for our lunch break, we'd go over there. Got out, took a shower, I got dressed, and I'm sitting on the bench tying my shoes, and this old, gotta be like 75, 80-year-old guy, and I'm bending down to tie my shoe, and I look over, and he's right next to me and has one leg up on the bench with his old just dangling like 3 inches from my face, just having a conversation with someone like it's no big deal. It's like, dude, put your away. No need. Just because, it's a locker room does not give you free rein to flap in the wind where you so choose.
Next topic.
There's a developer, Cliff Harris. He is an indie game developer with a company called Positech Games. People were pirating his games, and he really did not understand why, because he had all demos for his games, he had it available over digital distribution services, all that kind of stuff, but people were still pirating his games. He put out to the pirating groups, he said, you'll tell me why you're pirating my games. And I guess lots of pirates responded. Now, they responded to more than just his. They also responded to why they pirate games in general. First, the quality of the games. I think you mentioned this a while ago, Keith. Remember how you said you get all this hype up for a game, it comes out, and it's not what you expected?
That's one of the huge reasons why I do like the Xbox 360 so much, is because pretty much every game that comes out, you can go download a demo for, so you're not really going to ever waste $60. And if you don't take advantage of that and you're a live member and you're going to complain about a poor game, that's your own fault.
Well, here was their thing. They got all this hype built up for a game, and then it comes out, and they find not a lot of quality in the actual gameplay and game design. The graphics are fine, but they just got bored playing the game. And on the demos, most felt that some demos weren't representative of the final game. So instead of buying games and getting disappointed, they just pirate them. Second, money. A lot of kids were saying they have no money, but they have lots of time.
I can understand that.
And they were like, we can't afford these games. They were angry at the $60 price tag for games. The international buyers were angry that they're paying more. Like in Australia, there's really high charges on games. Like I think Grand Theft Auto is $100.
Talk about a sense of entitlement. Jesus.
They also said that they would buy the games if they were cheaper.
My personal opinion is, yes, it's $60, but you can't possibly tell me that you feel you're getting ripped off. With the costs of the games, and again, probably stems back to a huge rage against corporate America, but you got to make make money on it.
And I think the money thing isn't so much I'm getting ripped off, I don't want to spend it. I think the kid thing is important. You're talking about young teenagers who don't have an income or get an allowance, but it would take 6 months to save up $60 for a game or something.
Whoa, that's some really cheap parents there.
Please, sir, may I have another bowl of gruel?
Well, you know what I mean? That's the thing, though, is, kids, they want to, and I'm not suggesting that all kids have ADD, but I was the same way. I still am. I get into something, and then a day or two later, a week later, whatever, I'm into something else and want to play something else. To feed their habit, you're talking $600 or plus a month if they paid for everything. So instead of paying for it because they don't have their own income to pay for these things, and mom and dad aren't going to support $600 a month video game habits, they pirate them.
I know we've mentioned this before with my brother when he was living in Ohio with his video game habit. We calculated out he was spending about $350 a month on video games, and then selling them on eBay for $200 to $300 to get money back, kind of thing.
I remember way in the past that I could keep up with games because games didn't come out that often, and I could always spend time, playing a game for a month or two at a time, and then something new would come along. And there was a point probably about 10 years ago that stopped happening. New things kept coming out all the time, and now I'm like you guys. I don't switch every 5-10 days to something new. It's hard.
We've kind of completely flip-flopped on the game thing where you used to go 6 months before a new game came out that interested you. Now it's like every month there's at least one game that you would like to play. You either do buy every game that comes out that you want to play and then you can't play them, or you stick to one game because you really like it and you miss out on other games. It's gotten to a point where, me personally, I've got a backlog of things that, I said I was going to buy and play, and I just haven't because I've been playing other things. And
you know what? That's one of those things where, personally, I don't look at that necessarily as a bad thing. From my standpoint, actually a game that I picked it up for, it was like $8. Gun is the name of the game. I kind of like it.
That is the good side of not buying everything as soon as it comes out. I mean, eventually, when you have time to play the game, it might have dropped in price. But here you have all these kids with all kinds of time and no money, and they want to play the latest games with their friends.
I sound like such an old man when I say this, but there really is a sense of entitlement. Like, this game's out and I deserve to own and play it, and a very much I want it and I want it now attitude. I'm not quite sure where that came from.
It's the kids. It's kids.
It's kids. We sound like a bunch of old men. If your ball's in my yard, I'm going to pop it. How's that? You kids, stay off my lawn.
Next topic.
For when we make Keith drink lots of alcohol and make him wear leather and he dies, we'll need a replacement.
I was about to say, dude, what are you trying to kill me? But apparently you were. So,
we'll force him shots of tequila while wearing leather coats and hats.
Doesn't sound like a good time at all for me, man.
Not for you, but for everyone else involved. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, but I've already made a blood pact with myself that when the time comes for me to go out, I'm taking as many people as I can with me.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you loaded on tequila wearing a leather coat, and then you have to try and punch Tom in the chest.
Sure. Works for me.
Okay.
Next topic.
Can I say one thing, though? I was just going to say it's really cool that a bunch of guys who have trouble getting together on their computer to record things every week paid hundreds of dollars for plane tickets, took time off work, and all showed up here at the same time. In Seattle.
And we're all thinking about.
Next topic.
One game that Bob, Keith, and Ivan played was Lego Batman. Does it look any different than Lego Indiana Jones or Star Wars?
No, not really.
Gameplay doesn't look much different, but it looks really cool because it's Batman, so it's fair.
And if you've played any of those games, you know the general gameplay. And if you haven't played any of those games, shame on you and go play those games because they're oodles and oodles and oodles of fun.
So now Batman is cool. You guys go on hating Batman for years, and now, Batman's cool.
No, we've never hated Batman. Well, maybe Ivan has, but all we said was Batman is the only cool thing from DC. That's all we've ever said.
I just have this thing. I don't like most of the DC universe. I don't mind Batman. I've seen all the Batman movies, and aside from the middle
crap ones.
Yeah, the crap ones. The first two were good and the last two were good. Actually, the Batman the Animated Series I used to watch all the time. I actually enjoy that. I like to tease and make fun of Batman because I don't think he's as good a superhero as other ones from Marvel, but I do tolerate him. I think he's all right. So now, if they made a Batman game, I don't know that I would play it. If they made a Justice League game, I don't know that I would play it. But if you make a Lego, any one of those, I might play it just because the Lego games are a lot of fun. There's very few things that you can do with Lego that, I shouldn't say that, because somebody will be able to think of something, but you know what I mean. The Lego games are fun enough that it almost doesn't matter what Lego thing it is. It's going to be
Lego
fun.
Barbie Adventure 2011, huh?
Oh, boy.
Next topic.
Here's another voicemail we got, and I think we can answer it, but I don't think anyone here really cares. Well, you just listen.
Although Metal Gear Solid is over, it probably ended the best I've ever seen it with the story that it is putting it all together. Although Snake's story is ended, do you think Kojima will continue the Metal Gear Solid series?
Boy, this is the wrong group to ask that question to.
Well, I can actually answer the question because there is going to be more Metal Gear. Kojima Studios has said it's been basically a misunderstanding that this is the final Metal Gear game. No, it's the final chapter of the Solid Snake story. That's it. They're moving on. They're going to be working on other games. Now, if that's going to be a prequel, another story, other characters, no one knows yet. They're not going to stop Metal Gear. They can't. It's a cash cow for them.
Yeah, it's too easy to just pick out two people's names and put them together to make a character name and just go with it.
What?
Okay, what?
What?
Solid Snake, so you could pull out the name Bear
like Flimsy
and
Platypus or something?
There you go.
What did you say? Flimsy Platypus?
Flimsy Platypus instead of Solid. He's going to be their newest hero.
Next topic.
Hey guys, this is Jacob calling just to let you know that everything Chad says is right and everything else that Keith says sucks. Bye. Thanks so much.
Wow.
I guess everything I do say
What's
is
with the hate on Keith?
I'm easy to hate on, man.
I don't know why. I mean...
I'm not right. Don't assume I'm right.
Or assume he's nice, because he's not that either.
Well, that's true. I mean, Keith doesn't have his own Facebook page now.
That was not me. I didn't even do that. That was somebody else made that.
Somebody made you a Facebook page?
Yes.
It was like a Chad appreciation page.
Rock on, Chad. Rock on.
Next topic.
Okay, we did have some normal mail. This is from Ruler of Eden on the forums. He had 3 things to say. 1, in case anybody cares, one Megadeth song is in Rock Band 2. Does anyone care?
I like Slayer.
I don't have a problem with Megadeth. The one from Guitar Hero 1, that's a good song, but I'm not standing out on the street corners begging for Megadeth songs to be put into games.
Boy, that could have gone many directions.
I know. I realized that halfway through.
Number 2, he was requesting a ham sandwich.
No.
You can earn it if you meet Ivan out on the street corner.
Here, I guess, is his real question. Is Dungeons & Dragons hard to play?
Dungeons & Dragons, the role-playing pen and paper game, is only as difficult as your dungeon master. If you've got a guy who knows what he's doing, who can run the thing, then it's not hard at all. But if you have several people who are absolutely clueless and have never played before, then yeah, it wouldn't be easy to get started.
Say I'm a Dungeons & Dragons noob. How long would it take me to get the basic starter thing and then just get going? I mean, first off, you probably have to have a group of people to play with.
You need at least 2 people. I would highly recommend for your first time round, whoever is going to be your dungeon master, run with a module on your first time. That way, all the work is already done. It's already there for you.
And then the dungeon master is really just reading.
It's a good way to get your foot in the door to learn what's going on. Bare minimum, your DM will want to read the player's handbook and the dungeon master's guide, and your players should read at least the player's handbook, excluding all the spell crap unless you're going to be a spellcaster.
The thing with Dungeons & Dragons, it's not something like a video game where you can sit down and figure it out in 30 seconds and then play it. It's going to take some investment of time into reading some books or the module or whatever. And doing a whole Dungeons & Dragons campaign the whole point is that it takes you a while. It's not something you can sit down and do in 15 minutes and be done. The kind of investment ahead of time that it takes to figure out how to play the game is kind of equal to what you're getting out of it.
Prepare to invest time, and lots of it, because you're going to be investing hours and hours and hours, and if it's going to be a long-standing campaign, you're talking months and months of your time. The hardest part is honestly finding someone willing to invest the time to Dungeon Master. because you don't get to see your character grow and that kind of thing. You get the joy of
Killing
making
people.
the world. Well, hopefully you don't have one of those DMs.
I was going to say, I know people who that's what they try to do. They're DMs who, not, everything they can to kill them, but like every situation they're in is a potential death situation. They'll help them out every once in a while, but they don't mind, killing people off.
So try and avoid the sadistic DMs.
Yeah, make the nice guy the DM.
Next topic.
I stay away from Facebook. I stay away from these social networking.
I do too. I have a Facebook page, and I don't use it as much as everyone else does. I used it mainly just to get in touch with people who I haven't talked to in a while. But I stayed the hell away from,
MySpace?
I made
Facebook
a
is
MySpace
bad.
page, but it was only to ask Sue out.
Nice.
I didn't really know Sue that well. I just knew that she was friends with my buddy's wife, and they were always chatting on MySpace. So I figured, okay, that'd be a good way to get my foot in the door. So that's how I initially started talking to her, and didn't come across as, creepy dude.
Even though you were creepy because you created a MySpace page just to get on the
Well,
chat.
in hindsight, yeah, it's kind of creepy, but I was already in the house, and the door was locked at that time.
Next topic.
And this week for the roll call, when I say your name, tell me the most ridiculous quest you have played in a game. And joining me this evening is Ivan.
Probably have to be World of Warcraft, where you help a little goblin find his car keys by kill boars and then have a little hellhound eat the boar and then take a crap and then see if the keys are in his crap.
Bastard. That was what I was going to say, but now I have to think of a new one.
And also joining us is Phil.
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. For some reason, Warcraft has this infatuation with feces. So there was the one quest for one of the level 25 to 30 dungeons called Going Guano, where you got to pick up bat crap. And then there's one in Nagran, which is like a level 65 area, and you've got to pick up an object actually called dung.
At least they aren't hiding the fact.
No, they're not. So have fun picking up dung.
And finally joining us is Keith.
This isn't so much an exact quest because, like I said, I was going to use the feces fetching quest as well. But since everyone else is already doing that, I'm just going to go with the fact that these people are asking you to, the world's in dire peril. Please go save the world. Would you like to buy some gear or some potions?
You still have an issue with that.
I have a great issue with that. The world is ending, and the merchant who wants you to go help him won't even give you a potion. You have to still buy it off of him.
Hey, you gotta make a living, even if it's the end of the world.
Capitalism at its finest.
My ridiculous quest isn't as much the overall quest itself as how they implemented it. I was playing Warcraft last night. I had to get some centaur ears.
Centaur ears.
So now you figure it's a centaur. It's a humanoid being. They have 2 ears, right? And I needed to get 15. So I figured, hey, this would be like a 5-minute quest. I can kill these things pretty easily. I'll run in there, kill them all. Every time I killed a centaur, he didn't drop ears. I'm looking at the guy going, but you have 2 ears. Why aren't you dropping 2 ears?
They do that with a lot when you got to go collect eyes and teeth. Teeth, there was one I always liked.
It's I can see it on their body. I can see the ear.
What you're missing is that perhaps these are warrior centaurs and they're battle hardened and maybe in the course of their battles have lost an ear.
No, I can see the ear. I can see the ear on the body. No. I can see the ear on his body.
It's a prosthetic ear, and the quest guy only wants real ones.
Prosthetic ear. Okay.
How do you explain eyeballs and teeth?
Prosthetics.
Next topic.
How is Rock Band 2 so far? Enjoying it?
So far, Rock Band 2 is the same as Rock Band. I didn't think it was going to sell that well. I went to Best Buy and they didn't have it, so I went next door to GameStop and they didn't have it. And then I went to Circuit City and they didn't have it, so I went next door to Toys R Us. And I hate shopping at Toys R Us for video games because they're one of those annoying places that put all of their games behind the glass, so you have to find somebody to open the damn thing and
then
stuff
the giraffe
happens.
touches you inappropriately.
Yeah.
But you want the game. If you want the game, you got to have the giraffe touch you.
I know. It's a monopoly. I mean, they have a good racket going.
But so far, it is just Rock Band, just with new songs.
As far as the guitar goes, not a whole lot of difference. The other thing that I saw was drums now have drum solos, a lot like guitar solos. So your area turns blue and, you're in drum solo mode.
When my area turns blue, I start to worry. Sorry.
Yeah, they didn't change a whole lot as far as gameplay goes, but in my opinion, gameplay worked really well in Rock Band. I still have an issue with the whole star power thing. I can't activate star power without it throwing me completely off. It breaks your concentration, or at least it breaks my concentration. When you're focusing on little colored dots coming down, and then all of a sudden your brain says it's time to push a button or tilt your guitar, I always miss like a note or two.
My own personal tip here. Yes, you may look like a fool, but if you just do the I'm a little teapot maneuver and don't actually mess with your alignment of hands and guitar, it's a lot easier.
So you're just saying tip yourself over.
Yeah, tip yourself over and pour yourself out.
The Rock Band guitar, actually your pinky, at least my pinky finger, rests almost right on the button that is the...
Well, that's because you have Nosferatu hands.
It's true. My point, though, isn't a matter of having to move around screws me up. Like I said, my brain says it's time to hit the button, and that breaks my concentration from the colored dots.
So you don't multitask well. You can't rub your stomach and tap yourself on the head at the same time, right?
I can multitask just fine.
Well, if you could multitask just fine, you'd be able to push the little button and start.
I was about to say,
I can do it just fine. It's just I can't do it as accurately as not doing both.
We get defensive, why don't we?
Well,
Next topic.
Let's do the factor crap.
The hell was that?
Ivan, answer your phone.
yeah. Hold on a second.
What song do you have on your phone?
Thinking it's something from Wham.
You would choose Wham. Actually, I would pick Duran Duran over Wham.
Wait, as in his ringtone, or as you'd prefer to listen to Duran Duran?
No,
over
as in
Wham?
I think he would listen to Duran Duran over Wham.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would too.
Who would, in their right mind, listen to Wham?
I don't know.
Is he back yet? Ivan, you back yet?
Take your time, Ivan.
Just trying to do a show.
Shattered Dream Pie to whoever called him.
If you listen to the show, why do you ask that question? Oh, Jesus.
What are you looking at, mailbags?
Kind of. I was just checking the forums, and someone sent me a message saying, where do I send mail to the mailbag? What?
Mailbag at videogameshow.com.
I say it every week. Come on.
Exactly.
Is he back yet? Ivan? Yo, Ivan.
Think he was swept away to the land of Oz.
That would suck. Not that I don't like Munchkins, but...
Now, I wonder if the Munchkins, would there only be like one Munchkin left? Because I think that's all that's left alive. He'd show up, and there'd be one old Ash Munchkin sitting there.
So Munchkins can't reproduce. They couldn't have had kids.
No, they're sterile.
When was that mentioned in Wizard of Oz?
Page 428.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Hello?
Really?
I have no clue.
I gotta go. Mary's car broke down or something.
Did the hurricane get her?
So
apparently.
Keith was right. Shattered Dream Pie for whoever did call Ivan.
I win. Fact or crap. It was a fact. Shattered Dream Pie to whoever called Ivan.
Next topic.
Mailbag.
Next topic.
Okay, so in the Facebreaker, you have light attacks, heart attacks. Heart attacks. No.
Heart attacks?
No, not heart attacks.
The fat guy always dies in round 3.
Next topic.
Blizzard has announced that November 13th is the day that the next expansion for World of Warcraft will be released. This is, of course, Wrath of the Lich King. Looking forward to it?
Everyone's going to roll a Death Knight on day one. You're going to just see Death Knights everywhere. And although they sound really cool and kind of fun to play, I'm really kind of just more interested in getting my guy up to level 80. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
You know, I know what you're looking forward to. You're looking forward to the barbershops.
Hell yeah. Actually, more than the barbershops, I'm looking for the dance studio. I want to learn new emote dances because I'm really hoping like the Thriller dances in there for my undead priest because that would be funny as hell.
Next topic.
One other piece of Guitar Hero news. So there was a rumor that they're going to maybe do a Guitar Hero Jimi Hendrix. And there might be some truth to this rumor because Activision has said that next year they plan to double the number of SKUs of Guitar Hero. And there are 12 SKUs coming out this year for Guitar Hero. There are the 6 for Aerosmith across the PlayStation 2, the Wii, the blah, 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 blah. The one for the DS on tour, And I guess that one has a follow-up coming up called Decades. And then there's 4 for World Tour, 1 for the PS2, 1 for the PS3, 1 for the 360, and 1 for the Wii. So in 2009, they want 24 SKUs across all platforms. And in 2010, they want 36.
Essentially, they want to make 6 games in 2009, 1 for each of the 6 major console versions. That's 1 every 2 months, for God's sake. They may be able to do 36 in 1 year, but they're not going to be able to keep that pace or grow in the following years. If they do, they're going to be so oversaturated. You know, they're going to have this timeline for here's what we're going to do, and in 2020, we're going to have 155 SKUs in 2000 whatever. They're never going to make it to that point because people are going to get tired of it. But, I mean, they could do all kinds of stuff. They already have the 80s collection. They could spit out a whole crap ton of those. They don't have to necessarily do Guitar Hero Jimi Hendrix or Guitar Hero Cream or...
If they did too many specific bands, I think that would be too big of a loss for them. Not that many people like Metallica, not that many people like Jimi Hendrix. I don't know how Aerosmith sold.
The Aerosmith one apparently sold better than Aerosmith's last album.
Wow.
If you align the launches of each, it's selling better right now than the last album did. Now, I guess the flip side here is why don't they just put out like massive expansion packs over XBLA?
That's kind of why I have a brand loyalty to Rock Band now instead of Guitar Hero. I kind of like the way Rock Band's been doing it. We'll release a game or 2 a year, and then we'll just spit out downloadable content all over the damn place. You can pick and choose what you want to play. Like, I haven't been downloading a lot of the stuff because it's not my kind of music.
Next topic.
We have to give away a copy here of Too Human. And this was the contest where you have to describe the most useless superpower and how you would use it to annoy the world.
Is anyone decent at science here? Because one of these guys says the ability to sense the presence of nitrogen gas. Wouldn't you always sense that? Isn't there nitrogen in the atmosphere? I mean, that would be the epitome of useless. That would be like sensing the presence of oxygen.
Actually, our air is mostly nitrogen, so yes.
Well, see, there you go. So you would always be sensing the presence of nitrogen.
So, in theory, very useless, but I doubt it would be annoying to people.
Okay, so that's the thing we need to think about is 1 useless, 2 annoying. Got to be both, not one or the other.
I got to give props here to Greater Dad, whose was basically, I'm Captain Apathy and I don't care. I like that. It's just not really annoying. I mean,
yeah, it's not annoying, though.
So our winner here is going to be Travis and his magnetized Cheerios. My superpower would be the ability to make the breakfast cereal Cheerios, and only that brand, magnetic. Tiny bits of crunchy oats would immediately be attracted to the nearest source of metal. People wouldn't be able to get breakfast off their spoons and into their mouths. Boxes of Cheerios would be stuck forever to store shelves, and anyone dumb enough to walk past a bowl of magnetic Cheerios while holding a VCR tape would rue that day. It's genius in its simplicity. You know, I doubt many people actually know what VCR tape is anymore.
That's true. All right, so change that to your iPod. Don't take your iPod with a hard drive in it anywhere near it, because that would also ruin your...
Next topic.
Okay, let's... yeah, fact or crap.
I thought that was static.
No.
Next topic.
Oh, there's a funny story I never told about that. So anyway, remember when we were at the little booth with the guy, blonde hair, goatee, skinny guy who was telling us all about the game and we kept hammering with all the questions? I actually sat next to him on the plane ride back. So we got in the plane and I didn't want to talk to anybody. It was very clear that he didn't want to talk to anybody. So we just sat in kind of comfortable silence, each reading our respective thing on the way back. And so we're getting up to leave, and as we're coming out of the plane, I carry him out of the luggage bin thing, and I don't know what the hell happened, but as I picked it up, I nailed this guy in the eye with the corner of my carry-on.
Really?
Sweet.
Like hard. And he's like, ah!
That's kind of funny.
And I was like, all I wanted to do was get out of the plane. And then I hit this guy in the head. And I turn around and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I hit you. And he's like, guy who never does any physical activity and you just injured him. So he's all overreacting to it anyway, like, ah, yeah. And I was just like, sorry, dude. And just turned and walked away. I felt like a total jackass, but I didn't, I was like, what the hell was I going to do about it at that point? So, yeah, that was my little... So great. I apologize, guy with blonde hair and goatee. Did not mean to hit you with my carry-on bag.
Wow, you're mean.
Yeah.
Next topic.
BlizzCon was this last week. At BlizzCon, of course, they had Diablo 3 news.
Is that the next game you're going to play there, Bob? Diablo 3?
It's looking like it.
They showed off one new class, the Wizard class. And they also had some little news here and there about Diablo 3 in general. So, one thing they mentioned is that apparently you're no longer going to have to distribute attribute points. It will be auto-assigned as you level.
I don't know how I like that. I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah, so now it's more like Warcraft, because in Warcraft, your dexterity, your stamina, your strength are all auto-assigned per level.
Why do they even have stats at that point? Since we have no control over them, why are you telling me what they are? But then it gets to the point that the only control you have over it is what gear you wear.
Which means it's going to be very gear heavy. Not that it wasn't before, but now it's going to be even more so because the only way to adjust your stats is with gear.
Yeah, that was basically what they're saying. This is more of a gear skills game than attribute leveling.
No, sir, I don't like it. I like building my guys the way I want to build them.
Yeah, I like getting to the exact minimum I need to get the piece of gear I want and then putting every extra point into strength. That's what I like doing.
Okay, so that's one downside so far. The upper limit to a party is going to be 8. That's what they're shooting for.
Well, that's cool.
That's nice. That's cool.
Now it's going to be per person loot drops, a la Hellgate.
Good. Thank God.
Yeah.
From another story a couple weeks ago, we mentioned they're getting rid of health potions and giving out mana orbs and health orbs.
Basically the same thing anyway.
You just don't save them up, I'm assuming. It's like God of War when you kill something, orbs pop out and you just kind of absorb them.
From one story I saw, it sounds like if you're in a party and you grab a health orb, you get the health and so does everyone else. It's kind of shared.
As long as they then have something like a healer class or something. Because if you're in the middle of a battle and you're about to die and you're fighting a big guy who's not
a healer class.
dropping off, you know what I mean?
And then apparently, it sounds like they're going to try and monetize Battle.net somehow. They don't want subscription fees, but there might be extra stuff to buy. Downloadable content.
They should just sell equipment. Not like the Uber godlike stuff. That was almost half serious. Like, if you don't feel like grinding for a year doing magic runs and just want some gear so you can, like, hang out with everybody else, like, buy our $5 starter pack.
A random expansion booster pack, a la Magic.
Oh, dude, they could... Oh, my God, you know what they could do? They could make a fortune if they had Geed just, like, sitting in the aisle and, like, you could buy an item for, like, a quarter, and it would just be a random drop. It will just be like Geed in the store. How like people would spend all their... Wasn't that the guy's name who used to sit out in the middle and...
Yes.
And you go up and when you had all your extra money, you just go up and spend it all on him.
Good day to you, partner.
Exactly. Dude, they need Geed just like standing out. And like the items, rather than costing like gold money, just cost like money. Like, you know, a dagger would cost like 15 cents. Dude, people would waste money. Just stand there and waste money.
It would be like slots, but not.
Exactly. Dude, that's what they need to do. And they will make billions and billions of dollars.
Off of me.
Give everything a chance of dropping. It'd be like a damn lottery. Oh my God, they'd make so much money. There you go, Blizzard. There, I just made you your next $1 billion. You're welcome.
Next topic.
Okay, joining us late to the game is Tom. And Tom, let's say we have a device.
The device.
So we have a vibrating device.
No.
No, it can vibrate. It vibrates.
It could vibrate. Let's say we have a device that can accurately recreate the smells of the game you're playing. What game would you not want to play?
Oh. Smell the game or smell the players that I'm playing with?
No, the game.
Oh, that's a good point, though.
Regardless, I'll say Second Life, I guess.
Come on, you don't want that fresh scent of Donkey Show in the morning?
Although I have to say, I haven't played games since PAX, so I'm going to be completely talking out of my
Oh, for God's sake.
Welcome to the club.
Come to us for your video gaming news. We're fully half the podcast will play a game and been playing that game for an extended period of time, so they have no new input.
I did buy a 360 on Friday, but like the reason that I've been hesitant to buy a 360 because now I have to buy a couch and I have to buy a TV and I don't have any of those things. So I just have the 360 box in a completely empty living room.
You don't even have a TV?
I don't. I have to go buy one now.
Boy.
You bought a 360 without a TV.
You're a brain surgeon, man, friend.
What kind of PC monitor do you have? You can't even use that?
I just have a laptop.
That would be backwards as hell, playing your 360 through a laptop. Just bringing it with you, this giant-ass 360, and you just set your laptop on top so you can play. It's all whirring and got his big fan running in the background, heating the damn laptop up. Good times.
Next topic.
But hey, Tom, you're here. We can do the StarCraft news, since, Tom, you are the StarCraft player.
Oh, it's going to be a trilogy.
Oh, okay, there you go. You just gave the news away.
Excellent segue. That was planned.
Yeah, my whole excellent introduction here is now shot. Thanks, Tom.
No, that's the glory of your magnificent editing.
Yes, I'll make it work somehow. Okay, so for the kids out there, Blizzard is now going to put out, instead of just one StarCraft 2, they're going to make 3 StarCraft 2 games.
Triple the sales!
Well, it'll be one single-player campaign for each race.
One game is going to be Terran, one game is Zerg, one game is Protoss, and the campaigns are contained. There's no cliffhangers to the next one. Now, you don't need all 3 to do multiplayer. It's just for the single-player campain.
Yeah, so I think that's...
Ivan, what'd you say oi for?
Because I'm picturing 3 separate titles at $40 a piece or more.
So that's the issue here. They have been saying there's going to be a lot of content, a lot of missions. Like, I think normal StarCraft was like 12 missions, and they're saying that this one's going to have like a 20 to 30 mission campaign per game. So they're putting a lot of content in each one. But is this just some way of trying to get more money for the whole thing?
Guys like me, I think there's going to be a large portion of the player base that, I just want one SKU so that I can play multiplayer. And as long as I'm not excluded from certain units because I didn't buy all 3 packs, I'll be perfectly happy. Because I'm not the type who plays single player all the way through anyway, so I just want to get it for multiplayer. So I'm fine with this.
Well, what if they were to do this? Now, a little earlier in the show, we had mentioned they're going to try and monetize Battle.net for Diablo 3. That could mean downloadable content.
Oh, wait, this is sounding scary. I don't like where this is going.
I'm putting a hypothetical out here. So what if you buy one game? Say you buy the Terran game.
No, I wouldn't buy the Terran game.
Okay. Zerg?
No.
Protoss.
Yes, I'd buy the Protoss.
Well, actually, that's the last one coming out, I think. So you're going to have to wait a little while.
Oh, so I'm going to have to buy the Terran first, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Crap, those bastards have to buy 2 SKUs now!
Say you only buy the Terran one, and there are other units you need for multiplayer in the other games. What if they were to release those over Battle.net as little things for those who don't want to buy the Zerg one?
Wait, so you're saying that in this scenario, there are units tied to a particular SKU of StarCraft 2?
Now, that's not been said, but I'm just saying, what if? It's a what if.
But those units are then made available as downloaded content through Battle.net. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Then I would go on Battle.net forums and whine and complain.
Okay, just checking. Just making sure there.
Such is the way of the internet.
Are these going to have the Blizzard achievements?
Wait, that matters?
No. You're right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I mean, yes.
Okay, so you bought a 360 just for achievements, right?
No, I bought that as a Settlers of Catan client.
Oh my god.
Next topic.
Because there's a few people out there who still have not heard of Rock Band, who are wannabe rockers.
Who hasn't heard of Rock Band yet?
I'm sure there's people who sit inside all day long and watch VH1.
Wow. That's even lower on the totem pole than us.
Next topic.
Do we care that Lord British is now in space?
Who?
He was the guy who did the Ultimas series.
The guy who made Ultima and Ultima Online paid $30 million to the Russians so they can shoot him up in a rocket, and he's now in space going to the space station.
Good for him.
Congratulations on amassing enough wealth.
Yeah, you could throw it at the wall and just it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
His home in Texas is built to look like a castle. And it has like secret rooms and traps and towers and stuff.
Good for him.
Lord British was at the center of one of the greatest griefing stories ever. I guess back during the Ultima Online days, Lord British would show up every once in a while and give like a pronouncement to all of the minions in the Ultima Online realm. So I guess a couple of griefers figured out a bug in the game where they could actually attack and kill Lord British. So Lord British appears and he comes out into his castle and suddenly the griefers attack, kill Lord British. So Lord British logs back on with like another character and completely wipes the realm out. Every like innocent characters are just dying.
It's mine.
Any Warhammer griefing there, Keith, you've seen?
No, there's been no griefing whatsoever.
I have no desire to play that game now.
Do you guys ever see that video of Age of Conan griefing where somebody just sits on a bridge with a horse?
Yeah, with their horse. And then they playing like the Benny Hill music or something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Age of Conan isn't doing too well as an MMO.
No, I'm shocked. Tell me it
got
ain't
a
so.
lot of good. The people who I knew who played it just could not convince me to play it no matter how hard they tried, but they were very convinced that it was a great game.
It did look like fun. I wanted to try it once. I just never got around to trying it. And now they're consolidating servers. Funcom stock is way down. This is before the bad stock market things. The head designer left. And the guy who did Anarchy Online's now taken over.
Head designer left. Holy mackerel.
But when are people going to realize there's only one MMO? There can be only one.
There can be only one. Warhammer's days are numbered the second.
Dude, tell that to the old school EverQuest players, because at work there's a couple of guys, they've been with EverQuest since like the beginning, and they're not going anywhere.
Honestly, man, I like Warhammer. Everyone I know that has played Warhammer has liked it better than WoW. Even Chris was digging it more than WoW.
It could take off. The first week was 500,000 players. The second week now is like 750,000. So if they can keep those kind of numbers up.
People are just waiting for Wrath of the Lich King to come out.
I was going to say, nobody's leaving WoW. It's not like there's some travesty where everyone's looking for something else because something happened in WoW. So, yeah, you may get a bunch of people playing, but I don't think the diehard WoW people aren't going anywhere.
No, they're going to be sticking around because of Lich King.
Did I ever tell the story on the show about my new landlord? When I first went to the property to view the apartment unit, the landlord was showing me around and he kept checking his watch. And he's like, oh, sorry, I got to check on my guild in a couple minutes. And of course, I have to ask, right? You just can't say that and just drop it and let it go. So I'm like, World of Warcraft? And he's, no, I'm in a Second Life guild. And then for the next hour, he explains Second Life's combat system. There's this new faction that came on of newbies, and they're trying to battle them back and how they sabotage his land. And then he starts telling me about his wife and his kids, and I can't figure out if he's talking about his Second Life wife and kids or his real life wife and kids. So then he opens his wallet and he pulls out these pictures of the avatars. And he's like, here's my and it's the avatar picture.
Oh my god.
And so I didn't have the heart to ask him if he had a wife and kid.
So it's just the game then. Oh. That kind of half smile thing.
Wow. That's a whole new level of Lodum.
Lodum?
Lodum. It's a new
we
word.
Found a tier below people who watch VH1 all day.
Exactly.
Congratulations. That puts us up to tier 3. I'm ecstatic.
Next topic.
Mail.
Bag. Mailbag.
Mailbag.
We need the background music or that's less funny. Mail.
Bag. Mailbag.
Mailbag.
Damn it.
You need a couple like notes on the xylophone.
Exactly. Mail.
Bag. Mailbag.
Mailbag. No. Wait for me. Wait for me.
Slow down, you face.
We have a voicemail message here.
Delete it.
Yeah, don't even play it. Just delete it.
Thank them for their deletion.
Thank you for your call, human number 543. Delete.
Here, listen to this.
Just like Back to the Future, we're going to have our socks blown off.
Hey, Chad, this is Jacob from the forums. I know this is going to seem kind of a noob question, but my friend's talking about an 8-bit game, and they just laughed at me for asking what 8-bit was. On the next show, can you please explain to me what it is? I love the show, and Chad, give yourself a ham sandwich on me.
It has to do with the 8-bit processor in the Nintendos and the Sega Master Systems. Those are the CPUs of the little devices. They were 8-bit microprocessors, meaning they had 8-bit data buses and 16-bit address buses.
You sound smart.
Because that is going to be an excellent explanation for the 12-year-old kid.
I think it's stop there because it'll take too long to give him the real answer.
You know what? You know how exactly that would go? That would go, there's an 8-bit thingy, and yeah.
Simplistic things, it's how much data the brain of the console could handle. It could only handle 8 bits worth of data at a time.
What are we up to now, Chad?
It depends. See, nowadays the numbers are gone. We don't do numbers anymore. It got too complicated. What? Want me a fake answer?
Yeah. Make something up.
They're all 64-bit. PowerPC chip in the 360 is 64-bit.
Well, no, that's address space. The data bus can be 128-bit wide or 256 wide.
Yeah.
In short, there are no numbers anymore. I'll make one up, though. We're in the 4096-bit range.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than 8, Chad.
Yes, it is.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Smoke them bits. They got arsenic in them. Now you're poisoned. Ha, ha, ha.
If you want a real answer, go learn computer engineering. You'll understand it all.
It's that easy. $10, his friends don't know what the hell 8-bit means anyway.
Next topic.
This is from Shish Kebab, and he's saying, I'm trying to get a podcast going. Don't worry, I'm not going to go all, what was it like to make a podcast, because I already know about all that. His question is, how do you record your shows? Because it sounds like you record in a room together.
It's all voodoo and black magic. You have to buy your own Chad, and those don't come cheap.
Yeah. I bought a dangling Chad.
I'm so tired of that joke. That was so...
Voting humor!
The best kind.
Shish Kebab, if you want the answer, go check the show notes. I'll put a link into how we actually record. No, we're not all in a room together because obviously Keith is in 1950.
Look, I know for next time to either fix it or get a new thingy.
Or get a 1950s accent and use it constantly. That's what Keith sounds like. Not a 1950s announcer. He sounds like the racetrack announcer. Dangling Chad coming up the front. Dangling Chad followed closely by Mother's Milk. Mother's Milk and Baby's Bubble. Baby's Bubble coming up the front side. But it's Mother's Milk. Dangling Chad. Dangling Chad for the win. That's what he sounds like.
That was a lot of emotion. I don't exuberate that much emotion.
Next topic.
Okay, this is from Wiggles. Hello, video game show. I've been a long-time listener. I was hoping that maybe you guys could give me and my partners in our college project some advice on video game violence and what your views are on it.
What I like about this, no, this isn't a junior high project. This is a college project.
Wow.
Aim high, brother. Aim high.
I remember Chris explaining in a few episodes far back how games are getting the blame all the time for for deaths related to games is just stupid. Okay, this is a college project, huh? And this is your grammar.
Wow.
Okay.
Put down the poll, my friend. Rewrite the email. Then we'll try again. My answer is I wouldn't worry about it. You're not going to be in college for very much longer.
He remembers Chris explaining a long time ago that it was stupid for games to get the blame for deaths and whatnot.
And of course, that answer wasn't at all biased.
No. And that movies and TV shows could spark the exact same effect for someone to do something crazy. My partners and I completely agree with this. Also, if you could point me to some sites you are aware of that would help with that project, that would be great.
Why don't you just reference Wikipedia while you're at it? I mean, you're already asking us for opinions. I mean, just...
What do we reference? We just make it up as we go.
Exactly.
We got to contact the VH1 people for their opinion on this important topic.
I guess the question comes down to, should video games be blamed for violence?
No, but I don't think we have any reference material for you. That's just kind of our view. I reference me there. How's that?
People do stupid things. It's not the games causing the stupidity. It's just the stupid people.
What would be the proper MLA citation format for this podcast?
Dude, I have no idea. Just make something up, put a date after it, and a page
Chad
number.
Et al. Episode 111 et al.
We don't even have last names. Haha. A direct quote from the mighty Oot. That'll go a really long way.
Next topic.
Let's see here now. Let me got one more piece of mail here. No, that's a stupid question.
I like Chad because we only get to hear the mail that we should hear. He's like the Chinese media. He knows what's best for us.